I mean, people often think that it's because my last name is Miss Kim, but that's just coincidence. Kim is the most common Korean last name. It's like Smith for British, except more common than that. Like there's so many Kims. So I wanted to do something that communicated that this is clearly a Korean restaurant, or like it's rooted in Korean tradition. And then I put Miss on there because I also wanted people to know and appreciate that this is a female-owned restaurant. So the name Miss Kim came from that, and the fact that it's my last name as well just worked out. Yeah. I grew up in Korea until I came to United States when I was 13. My mom is the best cook in the family. She won't share her secrets even with me, so I had to learn the hard way. But you know, I left her house when I moved to Michigan, and I would see all these beautiful produce, and Zingerman's Deli is our sister restaurant, and I used to work there as well, and I would see this amazing non-Asian Western food, and I sort of miss that, like having that like access to really good Korean food, like the homemade Korean food, something that somebody made with care and time and effort, and I didn't really have that, so it got me thinking, like, it brings me joy and pleasure, it brings my friends joy and pleasure, and I wanted to do something tactile, and I couldn't easily get it on my own, so I was like, I'll make it. There is this idea that you go to an Asian restaurant, it has to be cheap. It's okay if it's a little dirty, if it's cheap, and it has to be full of like non-English speaking aunties and uncles serving you, and that's great. But I think what sets our restaurant apart is that it's as much a Michigan and American restaurant as it is a Korean restaurant. So it is ran by a woman of color who's an immigrant, but our lives are as deeply rooted in Michigan as our past is rooted in Korea, and our menu feeds off of that. So if you, especially in Michigan, if you go to a Korean restaurant, they're all like good, but menus about the same. So you see same menu, like same items. It's done well enough, but without a personal connection or a connection to the community. And our food tends to be rooted in a few different things. So I do a lot of research into historical Korean cooking, and I also have personal experience with Korean food, because my mom makes everything still from scratch. Traditional cuisine tend to be really, really connected to the season and the locality. So Korean food, for example, like Korean Farmer's Almanac lists 24 seasons instead of 4 seasons. So like every 2 weeks it's a new season. And if you hunted down English peas, or if you hunted down like foraged rams, then you know that season last hot second for that vegetable, right? So that tells me that really honoring the seasonality of your ingredients is important to Korean food as it is important to Italian food. So the fact that we are really tuned and connected into the Michigan farming community is important. And then, so Korea is, I think, a size of Indiana maybe. So it's about the size of one state of the United States, but geography is quite varied. It's surrounded by like seas on 3 sides, and then it's about 70% mountainous. So they have very distinctive regional cuisine. So for a small country to have a distinctive regional cuisine also informs me that um, like being in Michigan should be an important factor if you want to do a Korean restaurant anywhere. Like connected to the land is important, right? So we try to pay attention to all those things, and rather than having like a good set menu that you just replicate. I'm sort of only now coming down from having had to make all the changes, because it was a sudden change and we needed to look at ways to make it work for us and so we can survive and so that I can hold our staff tight and see if we can all survive. We did have to lay off or furlough a lot of our staff. So I think at this point, probably like 1/3, more than 1/3, less than half. Yeah. Biggest decision maker was that the dining room is closed. Yeah. And Miskin is part of Zingerman's community of businesses, and we practice open book finance. So I don't mind sharing at all that our revenue was immediately down more than 50%, and now I think it's back up to maybe like 55% of what it used to be. And we're lucky that we had very supportive and loyal regulars who appreciated that we were trying to do the right thing, and which is safety first. We're trying to turn this into an opportunity. And take some risks because we're already taking huge risks by just being in the situation. So we're like, okay, let's expand our product line and offering and see what sticks. So we're trying meal kits, we're trying pantry items like frozen buns or sauces to go, and we started doing tutorial videos to help with that. And if I don't have to think about everything else that's going on in the world, and we're just putting together meal kits and doing tutorial videos, it could be even a little fun. Yeah. So we're working hard to survive, and we're working hard to turn this into an opportunity to maybe try a few things. I think our immediate future goal is to make the business work without having to risk safety of doing dining in. Because the numbers are still pretty volatile, and we definitely want to reopen our doors and welcome people in. I didn't go into hospitality industry because I don't want to have people in the door and then see them enjoy a really good time. We want that really bad, but we're not going to do that until it's very safe. Oh.